So North Carolina's Madison Cawthorn has been arrested for a crime, and his response? To call Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a thug. Let's talk about it in today's video.
Remember that Zelensky is a thug. Remember that the Ukrainian government is incredibly corrupt, and it is incredibly evil, and it has been pushing woke ideologies, and really there's the new woke world.
Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to give you the ammo to stand up to the MAGA crowd. Well, you just saw one of the brightest stars in the MAGA crowd, Madison Cawthorn, the youngest member of Congress representing North Carolina, the very same Madison Cawthorn who led the charge in Congress to deny the certification of President Biden's election, insulting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I've got to say, taking that position is pretty much out of the mainstream, and that be out of the Democratic mainstream, the independent mainstream, or even the Republican mainstream. In fact, on this issue, Americans are surprisingly unified. By overwhelming margins, Americans of all stripes agree that Russia is the aggressor, and they support President Biden's efforts to sanction Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. So why would Madison Cawthorn say something like that? Well, as it turns out, Madison Cawthorn was just arrested for driving without a license. It turns out this is the second time he's been arrested for that offense, so you'd think he'd know better. And in fact, you think he'd especially know better considering the fact that he lost the use of his legs as a result of a car accident. And according to reports, he wasn't just driving without a license, he was driving recklessly and speeding, frankly, at a speed that I would never drive at, which is really saying something. This is just one more notch in the belt for Madison Cawthorn, who's been shown to lie repeatedly about his record, including claiming that he was accepted at Harvard and Princeton, and that the reason he didn't go to the U.S. Naval Academy was because of his accident, all of which are completely untrue. And what's more, when he was first running for office, he had former classmates coming out of the woodwork, urging voters to vote against him because of the fact that he's a sexual predator. But in this day and age, that's exactly the type of background that will make you a superstar in the MAGA movement. So now, on top of the fact that Madison Cawthorn is fighting for his political life, given the fact that there's been a lawsuit filed against him to try to stop him from even being able to appear on the ballot, and that he's been arrested, he decides to distract people by talking about what a bad guy Volodymyr Zelensky is. Now, it's worth noting that in North Carolina, one of the Republican candidates for U.S. Senate is running an ad attacking one of the other candidates for being too supportive of the Russians and Vladimir Putin and not supporting the Ukrainians. So something tells me that this position of Madison Cawthorn is not exactly a strong one politically, even among Republican circles in North Carolina. I mean, we even see how Donald Trump, yes, that Donald Trump of the Putin's a genius, trying to wiggle his way out of being connected with those statements. And in fact, we even have Donald Trump Jr. providing perhaps the most interesting explanation for Donald Trump's repeated praise of Putin and the Russians, with that superstar Jr. claiming that this was really Donald Trump's way of trying to control him. To buy that argument, you'd have had to be sleeping through the past 4 years. At any rate, my hope is that Madison Cawthorn, along with Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, might find themselves only as one-term members of Congress after this election is up. And if they keep up the kind of behavior that they've been doing so far, they might well succeed in that. Well, here's a video where I talk about the lawsuit that's been filed against Madison Cawthorn to keep him off the ballot in North Carolina. This lawsuit has some legs because it's based upon the constitutional requirement that you can't go and support an insurrection against the U.S. government and then run for office. We'll see if Madison Cawthorn can survive that, but even if he can, he might not be able to survive the wrath of the voters. I'll see you in that video. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.